Alright, this video is definitely going to be controversial. It's probably going to be a tough one to sit through. I ask that if you're a fan of my content, or if you play or are considering playing Archeage Unchained or any other product under the publishing arm of Gamigo, you watch this video in its entirety. Don't click off and form an opinion early. Don't take what I say as fact when it's opinions or assertions, or things that I say from my perspective. Just look at the raw numbers that I'm going to show you, the conversations I'm going to show you, and then make up your own mind. This video is going to be about my experience from behind the scenes of working with Gamigo, and more specifically as a partner of theirs with affiliate marketing to promote the newly released Archeage Unchained. Spoiler alert, it's not good and I'm not happy. I will warn you, this video is going to be really long, it's really dense, it's just full of information. It's not very entertaining, but it is interesting if you want to see Gamigo behind closed doors and the ongoings of what happens as a content creator working with this company. I can only speak for myself and no other YouTuber, but this is my experience and I hope you all watch and hear me out. Look at the raw numbers, let me know what you think. The intention of this video is to put into the public the wrongdoing I've been subjected to as a partner of Gamigo and to seek rightful compensation for my work. Now, this story starts when I created my YouTube channel. It was purely for fun, make some BDO content, as that was the game I was playing. It started in the middle of April and immediately I just really enjoyed it. I was already on my way out the door in BDO though when I created the channel and decided to try other games and make content on those, all within the MMO genre. On May 17th I went and made a 2009 first impressions video for Archeage, the original legacy game. On June 5th I was contacted by an employee of Gamigo via email offering me an affiliate deal. Basically I sign a contract and I'm given a link, people who create an account through that link are tied to me, and anytime they spend money in the game I get a percentage cut of it. Of course, with this being the original Archeage, it literally made me no money at all, not a single penny. I made the original videos for Archeage and I knew the deal wasn't going to make me anything, because in 2019, let's be honest, who doesn't already have an Archeage account, or if they don't, why would they want to play it? It was just pretty much dead. So I made content the same way I always make content. I just said what I thought with no mind to if it'd make me money or not, and I made content on what I wanted to make content on. I was critical but fair of Archeage, at least I feel. Fast forward to Unchained being announced, I was kind of aware that it was coming from behind the scenes info, just in the way that I knew they had big news planned for August, but not what was actually gonna happen. Basically, when I informed Gamigo that I wouldn't be making Archeage content anymore, they said they had a big announcement coming, but I didn't know what it was about at all. Then, of course, fast forward, they announced Archeage Unchained on August 19th. I was really excited, just like everyone else. I really enjoyed Archeage as a game. Then on August 30th, they revealed the Founders Pack, and this is where the story really starts in truth. So on August 30th, the Founders Packs came up on the Archeage Unchained website for pre-purchase. Of course, I knew I had a big opportunity here because I was in a position where Archeage isn't a massive mainstream game, and I already have a couple of videos highly ranked on the YouTube search about Archeage, and then I have the affiliate contract entitling me to 50% of any purchases made via my link, and then 50% of any in-game microtransaction for anyone who has bought from my link. So if you made an account using my link, then you're tied to me forever, and if you spend any money, I would get a 50% cut of it. Awesome opportunity, right? I thought it was. So on August 30th, I contacted my Gamigo affiliate manager on Skype and asked for my tracking link as soon as possible so I could do a review of the Founders Packs and start as early on as I could making content for the game. Bear in mind, I've been doing YouTube at this point in this story for 3 months tops. I'm making zero money, I have no job, I'm seeing this as a big deal. So my contact on Skype sends me over an affiliate link on August 30th for Archeage Unchained. Obviously it has to be different to the original one because that was the free-to-play version of the game. So here's the link, the conversation. As you can see, the link has this section in it, UTM_source equals KiraTV, right? Which of course is me. I used this link as soon as he gave it me on August 30th, the first time in the publication of this Founders Pack reveal video, and I continued to use it in that unaltered form until September 9th, when I realised everyone uses bit.ly links, which, if you're unaware, is a website that allows you to shorten any link, and luckily for me, in this case, it also tracks outgoing traffic on said link. So I had about 9 or 10 days of untracked data on my first ever affiliate link. After that, as you can see from the data on Bitly, not a lot of clicks, 126 total from September 10th until September 23rd. There is a few clicks after this date, after the 23rd of September. Again, luckily for me, I didn't remove this link from every YouTube video when I got the new one, as a mistake, which is great because then when I needed that link, in this case as evidence against Gamigo, I had it. So this link was left up in one video and it got a couple clicks. On September 23rd at 9:14 AM, I was contacted on Skype by the Gamigo contact that I have and given a new link. Here it is. As you can see, it's for Archeage Unchained again, but this time the link says UTM source equals 729. So as for what UTM source actually is, basically you can Google it. It's a way to attribute a keyword or a phrase to a link to specifically track data from that source. It's how affiliates work. So they're using that UTM source to see specifically how many people go to the link and purchase the game, specifically my link that they gave me. So at this point, knowing enough about web development, as it's a career I tried to pursue in a previous life before my health went to total shit, I knew that them giving me a new link with a new source was weird. I of course brought this up and said basically, why am I getting a new link, what's it for, how is it different, and if my old link would not work anymore. I was assured it has a direct bond with my current affiliate ID and that it was just a more efficient way of tracking the data. He recommended I swap the link immediately, assured me nothing was lost, and at this point also noticed that on September 23rd I asked for a personal copy of Archeage Unchained to be sent over, which I was promised. Bear in mind at this point the game's release date was September 30th and I'd asked multiple times for my personal copy of the game to be sent over, so I was ready for the launch. Of course, at this point of September 23rd, I was already aware, as you guys were, that the game had been delayed until the 15th of October, but I had been asking for weeks for the game code to be sent over, as well as I'd been asking for weeks for me to be updated on the revenue generated because I wanted to know if it was even working or what I was doing was working. So let's just real quick talk about what a breach of contract is. If you don't know, when you sign a contract, you are expected to adhere to what is within that contract to a reasonable standard. Within this contract, it states that Gamigo will send me a report of earnings at the end of each month. I had this contract signed with them since June 5th, and to the date of September 23rd, I'd received precisely 0 reports, which is of course a breach of that contract. So let's just look at all the times I asked for the revenue to be looked into and to be given a report. At times I'm even asking not for a full report, just as an employee of the company, just look into it and see how much I've made, and then tell me. Very simple, it should be very simple. I ask on September 10th for an update. They tell me they're currently migrating their back-end systems and will inform me as soon as they're finished, and then they can send the numbers. I ask him to speak to his colleague who has emailed me telling me I will be getting a personal copy of the game, as well as copies of Archeage Unchained to give away to my followers and my viewers. No reply, leaves me on read, which Skype still has read receipts so I can see he read the message, never replied. A message again on September 21st, so 11 days later. Ask for an update on the packages, ask about the packages to give away, my personal copy of the game, and an update on my sales. I get left on red again. So 2 days later, September 23rd, I do get a reply, not answering any of my questions that he's left on red, just giving me that new link that I just talked about a little bit earlier. This today is the 3rd link that I've received, and this is the first one with a 729 UTM source. I basically get told that the media test has been delayed, his colleague will contact me with dates, and the migration is still affecting their systems. So far, that's since the September 4th that they've talked about this migration, not allowing him to see any reports on my sales. Skip forward to September 30th, I ask if the system is working yet, and he says yes. Ask for an affiliate report on my sales, since it has now been a calendar month of me asking and knowing that I've made sales and therefore I should be getting a report as per the contract that we both signed. He said yes, he will send it to me soon. I then ask again for the packages I was supposed to be getting to give away and my personal copy. He leaves me on red. October 1st, I ask for an update. He leaves me on red. October 2nd, I'm starting to get frustrated here, as you can imagine. I ask again and tell him how long I've been waiting, and he says he has been very busy and will get back to me that afternoon. Of course, he doesn't ever do that. October 7th by now, so 5 days later, he replies and tells me there will be an update tomorrow on October 8th for my affiliate sales. This update he says that I'm going to get, this report, is literally just him typing a number on Skype. No actual sales data, no verifiable information, just a guy typing a number on Skype. So at this point, October 8th, he tells me I've sold $1,202.72 USD in sales. That means anyone who clicked my link and bought the game, that amount would go to this sales number. This is not my cut of revenue. this is actual overall sales made via the link. So based on that number, I'd get roughly a third of it due to VAT, payment charges, etc., from what was supposed to be my original cut of 50%. So again, 1202 USD would equal about $400 for me for my affiliate partnership. I asked him how many copies I've actually sold. He says he would estimate about 30 to 40 based on that number. So again, he's estimating something that anyone who works with databases and web development can tell you. It would take him seconds or minutes to check this information. I also verified that now all those people that bought the game via my link are linked to my account, and therefore if they spend any money on the cash shop, I also get 50% cut of that, which again turns into like 30% roughly due to cuts and VAT. He confirms that and tells me at the end of the month, so the end of October, he'd create an invoice. I ask again about my copy of the game. At this point, I've literally given up on getting copies to give away because they just never reply. I decided to just out of my own pocket buy some and give them to people because this was beyond a joke, even getting what I was contractually obliged to get, let alone anything extra. He asks for my email, I give it to him, I get told I'll get an email tomorrow, so on October 9th. So basically on October 9th I got an email from his colleague. Here it is. By the way, missing in this story is emails to this colleague who confirmed my previous links were both fine and working for affiliate sales, as well as told me about the giveaway copies that never actually materialized at all. So this person sends me another tracking link. Just for the record, since starting with being a partner of Gamigo, this means I've had 4 links. One for the original Archeage, which is totally understandable why you'd have to swap that. Then 3 for Archeage Unchained in the space of a month and a half. This link had a bunch more stuff on the end of it and a UTM source of 729, the same as the previous one. Again, I asked why the change. I get told it's the same, but they just had to modify the link. Again, really confused by this. I've spoke to some web developers, and none of them seem to have a reason why anyone would have to change my affiliate link 3 times over the course of 90 days. This made me very uncomfortable because to this point they have made me change it 3 times, told me they've been having issues migrating the back end of the website, and they can't actually themselves, who work for the company, get any reports, which I just don't see as being possible. It literally tracks and goes into a database or onto their analytics and they can see it. As I said, I've worked on websites, I've seen databases, I've used tracking links. I know at least a little about this stuff, and that's enough to know that all of this was mega sketchy. But at this point, what can I do about it personally? I've not been given anything concrete to kick a fuss up besides them repeatedly missing deadlines over and over again, and the initial breach of contract from not sending me any reports. I still at this point think they're going to give me what I'm owed. Again, back to the Skype logs. At this point, October 10th, I'm messaging asking again for my personal copy of the game, as name reservations are about to start and I still don't have it. To which, surprisingly, I actually did get sent the personal use key on my emails from his colleague that night, 8:40 PM on the 11th. Now back to Skype again, and the revenue stuff, which is really what prompted this video. All the other stuff's really minor and just them being incompetent from my perspective. At this point, it's October 29th. The game has been out for 14 days. It's the end of the month. I asked for a firm date on when the revenue report would be sent to me. I get told Monday, which from the October 29th you can look, Monday is November the 4th. Come the 4th of November, I message him and ask where the report is. He asks for my email yet again, which I give it to him. He tells me he'll send it over to me today by 4 to 5 PM. And at this point, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, being realistic, after dealing with them for months, I knew that was a lie. Not a single time during this multiple month-long period had they actually given me any time or any date and actually stuck to it. So 4 to 5 PM rolls around, no report, surprise, surprise. I even sent a message to which he read and didn't reply, as usual. Next day I got told it will be over in a few hours, and lo and behold, here is the report. He sends it to my email, he sends me the number I would make and what I'm owed on Skype, which is $533 USD. Now I want you guys to imagine my surprise here. When you know he told me basically an entire month ago, before the game had even launched, that I'd made $400 odd. That in a whole month and over 80,000 additional video views, I'd made $100 on this affiliate. I knew it was false. I knew it for a fact before even looking into any of the evidence or any of the proof that I actually had. I knew it was a false number, and by a large, large margin. I said basically as much to him, and was admittedly maybe a little bit abrasive towards the guy, because at this point, who wouldn't be? It's like dealing with clowns. I basically said, how does it make sense that it was $1,202 in sales a month ago and has gone up $300 in revenue, $100 to me? To which he said, it totally makes sense. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. He then goes on to explain to me how I'm wrong and that views don't equal sales, which is one of the most redundant things anyone's ever said to me, because it actually does. 40k views obviously doesn't equal 40k sales. That's blatantly obvious, despite him trying to tell me like I don't know. But 40k views also doesn't translate to $300 either, and 40k was from a single video. He then explains to me that I will understand better with time how views and sales work. Again, spoiler alert, I do understand, since I do have other affiliates such as with Exit Lag, and he was wrong and I was right. Basically at this point I'm telling him it's dodgy that my link was changed 3 times and now they're coming at me with this ridiculously low number, to which he of course disagrees and tells me that it's correct. He tells me they can investigate it and have no desire in stealing from partners. Also tells me he would be happy to cancel the partnership since I'm showing no trust in them. Which again, not to be a broken record, but spoiler alert, I shouldn't have any trust in them since we're about to see that they are not worthy of trusting. He then goes on to say some stuff that doesn't need to be talked about since it's irrelevant to this point. He asked me to invoice them for the amount, which I absolutely will not do, as I know legally that means I'm accepting that amount to be correct, which I'm not going to do since it's definitely not correct. I then sent him a huge list of my own evidence I collected and some questions, which he reads and ignores, of course. He replies the next day, November 5th, and tells me to wait for the investigation. So at this point, guys, I'm basically looking at the spreadsheet sent over to me and figuring out that I can actually factually prove it's incorrect if he confirms what I suspect this box is saying. The link is called signups, and I think it's how many people clicked on the link. And I just have to get him to admit that, because little does he know I have bit.ly links on all of my links from now on so I can track usage. So this is saying $1,586 revenue sold from 334 link clicks. I ask him repeatedly to confirm what signups means, and he's very evasive at this point, as you can see. He basically doesn't want to answer that question. He tells me that they're not revenue related metrics, which again, I'm not a business development manager like this guy on Skype we're looking at right now, but I know that links clicked is definitely a metric that is revenue related, since you can use amount of links clicked versus amount of affiliates sold to pretty reliably, with a decent enough data size, see how many sales you're going to get. I do it all the time with other affiliates, Exit Lag for instance, and it's almost 100% of the time within a few percentage of variance. It's usually always right around there. That's just how data works. How do you think algorithms and predictions and market data works? That's just how it is. You have numbers, you look at it, and you can pretty reliably predict what's going to happen. He doesn't think I need to know though, and after about half an hour of him leaving me on red, ignoring my questions and evading it by telling me I don't need to know, he does confirm signups means how many people click the link. Now this is where it gets really interesting, guys, because his system says 334 clicks, right? My bit.ly link says 4,345. Can you notice a little bit of a difference there, a little bit of a gap? So basically, at this point, when I press him, he tells me I'm being inconvenient, which I, of course, disagree with. He then tells me that me being inconvenient is somehow a pre-requirement of our partnership, apparently. Also insinuates that I'm not being polite in all of this, and again insists that I don't know what I'm talking about because revenue is made prior to a game's launch, even though that's nothing that I've even said. I then got told that the investigation will be finished tomorrow, so November 6th, which I messaged him on that day. He ignored the message and never replied. Of course, standard operating procedure at this point. August 7th rolls around, I got a reply in the morning, and here we go. This is the conclusion of the investigation. They found, somehow magically, 82 more sales with a gross revenue of $3,044 USD. Which they still need to validate and extract the cost to make the revenue share, which would be something around 1k USD to me, then sum up with the previous amount of 500-ish USD from the original revenue report. Now you might think this story ends here and that I got what I'm owed, right? Well, I don't think so. And that's why I'm making this video, that's why I'm publicly outing this situation, and why I'm asking for people to look objectively at the facts and the numbers, and just the overall story and make up your own mind. I'm not going to say now that Gamigo is still 100% missing numbers, still 100% owing me a large sum of money, but I am of the opinion that what they're saying still doesn't make any sense at all, and let's examine why I am of that opinion. Also, at this point, I have had it with the whole situation, basically. I don't need the stress in my life or the anxiety of my literal livelihood and months of work being fucked with. I think I worked hard and I did a great job promoting Archeage, and I did it in my own way with the criticisms, the concerns, the facts, and tried to remain unbiased yet hype because I was into the game a lot. I never sold this game purely as a way to make money for myself because that's not what I do. Go back and watch the videos. I was always as fair as I could and called out any problems I had with the game that would put people off from buying, even when I had an incentive to just talk the game up to get sales. Despite this, I had literally hundreds of comments, private Discord messages, public Discord messages saying that they bought the game because of me using my affiliate link. I made this company money. I should be fairly compensated for that, and I don't believe this current number reflects that. So here we go. Let's look at how I view the data and numbers and how it doesn't make sense. Go back to October 8th. The report I sent: 17 copies sold, $1,586 gross revenue. Now November 8th, 82 copies sold, $3,044 gross revenue. Does anyone see a problem with those numbers, or is it just me? Also take into account that for them, at 334 clicks, like a month away from release, generated $1,586 revenue. And I just want to say that of my 4,000 plus clicks, only 126 of those clicks are included in those Gamigo's numbers because, as I said, I didn't previously track with Bitly the first link, which is those 17 sales are all from only the first ever link they sent me. Those clicks and sales were from August 30th until September 23rd. After this, you expect me to believe that 4,000 odd link clicks generated 3k USD, but 334 generated 1,586. It doesn't statistically make any sense. It doesn't mathematically make any sense, especially when you consider people generally buy a game closer to the release date than further away. That's a fact. So over a month prior to launch, 1.5k with 334 clicks. On release, 3,000 plus link clicks and $3,000. It doesn't make sense, guys. The game wasn't out on Steam yet, so even the days after launch, people were still purchasing from the link. And you can look at the Bitly tracking data here. It proves what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense at all from the numbers perspective, neither times, this time more so than before. Now, if it's just me, that's fine. I'll make an apology video and forget this ever happened. But for me, I'm not really a numbers guy. I'm awful at math, and I wouldn't consider myself extremely business savvy because I haven't proven yet that I am. The thing I do understand is, though, that numbers do not lie and data correlation is a thing. So if you're working out the average a customer paid for something when there's 3 packs of it, you just get the overall number, you just do the average of the 3 numbers and times that by the sales. So in this case, a $26 pack, a $50 pack, and an $80 pack, so the average of that is $53. So basically, what I'm saying here is if 17 people bought the game and some people will buy the top pack, some people will buy the middle pack, and some people will buy the bottom pack, on average, they'll even out to be roughly in the middle. Do that with the original number that they sent me, so 17 times by 53, that's $901, which leaves $685 of in-game spending over 17 days of the game being out since launch. Makes sense, right? Now, if you do the same thing for 82 copies sold, that's $4,346, which is more than the actual overall revenue by 42%. That's just in sales of the game. Now, if 17 accounts sold was $685 of in-game revenue, how come 82 copies sold is lower than the average of the box prices and also lower than the in-game spending? That to me doesn't make any sense, even in the slightest. No one can make that make sense. The numbers don't lie. They're also at this point not giving me the data anymore that I need for how many people clicked the link, which is also, of course, super sketchy because I can prove how many people clicked it and they apparently can't, even though it's their system. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to believe that they messed it up the first time and they haven't messed it up the second time, even though it doesn't make any sense. How is that legit this time when they missed 2 times the revenue apparently, but that revenue number doesn't make any sense? So I'm to believe that the first time it was a mistake and this time it's all fine, even though the numbers are very clearly off. I just don't, guys. That's just me though, and I hope you guys make your own deductions here. What I want to say at this point is that I know people are going to get mad at me. People get mad at YouTube people that make money for some reason. People are going to say, wow, you're complaining over making $1,500. That's so much money, etc., etc. The thing is, guys, I worked on this for multiple months. I sold hundreds of copies of the game, at least in my mind, despite what they're saying. I put in weeks of effort making videos. I made more content on this game than almost any other content creator covering Archeage Unchained. And when you average it out, this is way less than minimum wage. So please, this money wasn't made at your expense. It literally cost you nothing, and I need to eat too. I need to make a living. So don't look at $1,500 and think, oh, he's getting mad about it and he thinks he should be making more. That's not the case at all. I just want to be paid what I'm due and what I'm owed and what I worked for. At this point, I want to just outline what a good affiliate looks like and what Gamigo did and how wrong it is. Exit Lag, I've been working with them for longer than Gamigo. They're a small Brazilian company with less than 30 employees that run a gaming VPN service. Their website, I literally log in and it has an interface that shows me exactly how much money I've earned. It updates minute to minute, exactly how many signups I've had, how many clicks on the link, exactly how many subscriptions, the subscription dates and times and prices. I can look at the data and it is always within a few percentage of variance day to day in terms of how many clicks turn into registrations and how many registrations turn into sales. It's data correlation. I can estimate how much I'll make off the numbers due to the history of those numbers. Then look at how Gamigo did things. And bear in mind, I have no contract with Exit Lag. They literally just do this and I work with them and it's not a problem. It works perfectly. Now with Gamigo, I get a contract to do something. I do it for months with no updates. They fuck the numbers up once. They send me the numbers literally in a Google Docs spreadsheet where he has input the numbers manually with no formulas, no export from any database showing the numbers haven't been edited in any way, and won't show me the data that I can verify myself, i.e. links clicked, which they claim doesn't mean anything, and yet proved in the first place that they were either incompetent, in missing literally thousands of dollars of sales, or doing something else which I can't really comment on. All of this is verifiable fact. It's the truth. I have the Skype logs, I have the emails, I have the spreadsheets, I have the Bitly link data. Nothing there is conjecture. It's 100% fact. At this stage, people are going to think maybe I'm just being greedy and I'm upset I didn't make more money. Let me just explain to you guys. I make from YouTube less money per month than you guys would make in a part-time minimum wage job, and yet I do more hours. The 1.5k USD they're telling me I'm owed here is basically 8 months or something of what I make from YouTube ad revenue, because I don't put ads on my videos except for the first one ad that you might watch pre-roll on a video. I can choose to put up to 15 ads on a video. I put one single ad. I always have done, and I do this to not inconvenience you guys because I want people to watch and enjoy my content. The money's not a big deal to me. It will come in time if it's meant to be. I turn down sponsored content and affiliate deals with companies I wouldn't personally use or endorse because I want to be known as not a sellout. I'm not in it for the money at your expense and I'm to be trusted. So for me to turn down 1,500 USD is a huge punch in the gut for me and a huge hindrance on my career on YouTube, and this video is also massively risky in and of itself and could result in a lot of negative things that I won't get into. The thing is, I think I'm owed much more money than that. I saw the numbers the first time and gut feeling with no data knew it was wrong and I was proved right. I'm looking at the numbers that they're sending me the second time, and despite them being obviously much higher, 500 versus 1,500, I have that same feeling. I just want to be paid what I'm owed for the, in my opinion, great work that I did as a partner with this company. Basically, at this point, my parents, my friends, they're all telling me to just take the money and that I can't win here. How am I going to win against a company with 200 to 500 employees? And I will tell you what I told them. My principles are worth more to me than 1,500 USD. I'd rather get nothing than less than what I'm owed, and I feel it's my duty to out a company that has proven time and time again, in my opinion, that they're incompetent on every level. You've all seen it with Archeage Unchained as a game. Every day a new bug, every day a new non-answer, every day a new PR spin, a new no ETA as of yet. The game I sold in my videos, the game I was hyped for, is a shell of what it should have been. The company in charge is, in my opinion, not worthy of your trust or your respect, and I hope this video shows that today. Look at the numbers, the raw numbers that are provided, and the numbers they've provided, and ask yourself if it makes any sense at all. Ask yourself how I can have 12 times as many clicks on the affiliate link at a time where people would be way more likely to purchase the game due to the clicks being immediately prior to and during release compared to that of literally months before, and ask how 12 times the amount of clicks can amount to only 2 times the amount of revenue. On top of that, how does 17 people buying the game accrue almost the same revenue on average for in-game spending, but 82 equals less revenue than actual sales on average from the previous amount? Objectively, from a numbers standpoint, it does not make any sense at all. Some people are also going to point out how I've given Gamigo only under a week to solve this and get back to me with a solution, and point to that as being rash or too soon, and I should wait and give them an opportunity. Understand that I've been asking for revenue reports for months. They've got it wrong once already, and now they're telling me this is definitely correct, which I don't believe. What would giving them more time accomplish at that point when they've already proven that they couldn't get it right the first time and, in my opinion, the second time? I ask again how Exit Lag, a company with less than 30 employees, can have a UI which shows me exactly what I need to know, and yet a company the size of Gamigo with 200 to 500 employees, according to LinkedIn, can't even get the data themselves as employees of the company, and if they can, they won't share it with me. How crazy is it that I'm being made to look like the one who's being unreasonable and inconvenient, but their business development management are telling me that they can't even see the data themselves? Does that sound like numbers you can trust in a partnership after they've already proven that they got it wrong once and tried to make it look like I was wrong? Giving them more time wouldn't serve anything. They've had more than enough time, in my opinion, and now the only recourse I have is to inform the public of how they conduct business and see if that changes anything. Now, please don't get me twisted here, guys. Affiliates like this is how I can make a living, and it being a large sum of money is how YouTube works when you're at this level. I've been working on this contract and this partnership for multiple months, and I think I'm owed much, much more than the 1500 USD they're telling me. I know it sounds like a ton of money, and it sounds terrible when I'm saying it needs to be much, much more than 1500, and people typically hate on YouTubers for making money. But that lump sum would be there to see me through like half a year of slow and much less than minimum wage YouTube revenue. I don't make money on YouTube. This is how I would make money. These big payouts like once or twice a year that I work towards for multiple months is what would see me through making YouTube a career and allowing me to live. And I think Gamigo, in my opinion, at this point, are not paying me what I worked for, and it's massively affecting my life. It's affecting my channel. It's affecting my content. Look at the upload schedule and notice I haven't been able to upload recently due to having to deal with this. The stress, the anxiety of it all, it's just too much. This is literally my livelihood, guys. This is what I'm building towards as a career. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Sorry the video is so long. Let me know what you guys think, and hopefully you don't think less of me for any of this.